so I can share and make sure that I get everyone on. So come on in the room, come on in the room, come on, come on, come on, come on in. And I am going to share. Okay, I see you all starting to come in. Come on in the room. I see you. Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. I am so glad to have you all on. Woo woo. Happy Saturday. It's a great Saturday. Come on in, come on in. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. Well, look, you all, it has happened again. It has happened again. PWIN Certified Life Coaching Program. We have graduated another phenomenal life coach. And so I'm going to interview her today. I want you to meet her. I want you to get to know her. You may need to call on her as a coach. So it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous day. You know that the Phenomenal Woman Empowerment Network, one of our programs is the Next Level Empowerment and Development Academy, which we call the Lead Academy. And we have our certified life coaching program, which is second to none. It is a fabulous program. I know that I'm the founder, but it really is a great program. And we're excited that we have had over 20 enrollees, and you all have been meeting our graduates, and they're coming from all around. Today's wonderful graduate is out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and she is absolutely she's like all things wonderful. She is like so dope. She is so cool, but she has so much passion and vision and direction. And I just love her ministry. I love the work that she's doing, the difference that she's making. I am just absolutely elated that she chose PWIN to be her certifying organization, and that we get to have a front row seat as her coaching business, her ministry, her life just explodes and goes to the next level. So without further ado, I'm going to bring to the forefront of the screen the one and the only Naomi, and I'm going to say her last part of her last name, Mahyor. And I'm probably not even getting that completely correct. She has a beautiful name, so she's going to say the whole name. I'm committed to pronouncing it right. My lips don't always cooperate with what's coming out of my mouth, and so I greatly apologize, because I absolutely love her name. Even when you see it written, it's just so lovely. I love it. So Naomi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you, Phenom?
I am doing amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Again, long names matter. My name is Naomi Sengiyumva Mahyor.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I promise you. But you all, I love her name, actually. So, okay, we're gonna dive right into it. Tell everyone a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, what your ministry is, a little bit about your passion. Kind of give us all things Naomi.
Ooh, we got a time frame. Talk about that forever. So I am a mentor, I am a minister, and I'm also an author. I offer consulting and coaching services to companies, groups, and individuals, and my focus is reconciliation. I have a mission to reconcile people with themselves, to reconcile people with others, and to reconcile people with God. And I do this by the way of my 4R strategies, right? And we can get into a little more detail about that a little later, but that's basically it. helping people reconcile. There's so much hurt in the world. There's so much pain going on. And there's people that focus on prevention. There's people that focus on cure, but I take my time to focus on management, because there is a journey that happens before, if it already happens, the prevention is done, if it already happened. And then to get to the cure, there's a process that you need to walk out. And I am that person that will walk it out with you.
That's what I love about your approach, is that you're saying, okay, it's already happened, the trauma, the situation, it's already occurred. And so you may have even already sought professional help, but there's still some R word residue. And you come in and you want to be able to help people with that residue and help people manage and help, because here's how I think of you. When people have a tragedy in their lives, and let's look at death, because I've had a lot of death in my own personal life. My mother passed away when I was in my 20s. My father passed away a few years ago. I feel like, he was taken too soon. He was in a care facility and they were feeding him and he choked, and the CNA couldn't revive him. She couldn't perform the Heimlich, and he ended up passing away. So I was very angry about that because I felt like it was needless, right? And then most recently, my husband passed away. So I've had like a lot of death, right? And everyone is right there with you when the loved one passes away. Everybody's there. Your support system is there. I have a wonderful support system. Everyone's there. And then like within a month, everyone starts weaning away, right? And then you're just there holding the grief or holding the aftermath of whatever your trauma is. And I see you as that person that steps in at that point, kind of when everyone else has kind of left, and you're sitting here holding this and you're like, how do I manage this? What do I do with this? Where do I go from now? How do I process all of this? And then Naomi shows up and she's there to be able to then help me walk through it at that point. So what do you think about that description? How does that kind of fit? And what would that look like with you?
Man, that's spot on. It's almost like a pregnancy, right? You have the baby shower. No, you announce that you're pregnant and everyone is so excited. And then throughout the months, it's kind of like quiet until it's time to give birth or the baby shower. But you don't know the morning sickness. You don't know the pain. You don't know the different hurt that happens. And that's exactly right. Crisis looks different for everyone. And that is where I come in, right? I want to help you to be able to navigate the crisis that's around you and the crisis that's in you so that you can still manage your life and show up as who you are to be able to pour out. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup, but you also cannot pour if you're too full, right? And so there's that balanced look where it's like, I need help. And that's where the first R comes in, where you recognize it. Hey, you recognize that there's an issue. The issue looks different for everyone. Your crisis looks different. Some people have minor crisis. I call those, instead of tests, I call those pop quizzes. Some people have pop quizzes in life, right? Those are kind of easy. You might check yes or no. But then some people have tests, and that's where testimonies come in. But then there are other people that have issues that are exams. And I'm going to make up a word today. We're going to have examinomies, okay? Some people have examinomies because this thing is rocked. Like this thing, you did not expect it. Like COVID, who expected it? Like, and it touched everyone. And so there are some things in life, some crises that happen, and you don't know what to do, and you need a coach to walk you through it. And that's where I come in. That's where I come in. I'll come in non-judgmental. We'll strategize. We'll have a plan, but you'll also have accountability. That's what I'm about. I'll help you help yourself. You have to want to help You want to have the help, and we'll get you to your desired destination.
I love it. You have to want the help. You have to be open to it. You have to be ready to move into the next phase, which is why I like that you have a system. You are not just, out here flying by the seat of your pants as a coach. You have a system. You have your 4 R's. So don't give away like everything, but share with us at a high level what those 4 R's represent and how they're important to the process of clearing out that residue, the process of moving through and just getting through that last part of whatever your push is to get on the other side of your tragedy, on the other side of this circumstance and situation that showed up in your life.
Right. The first R is to recognize that there is a need, recognize that there is a residue. So whatever the need is, whether, because I do work with companies and groups, whether it's a workshop that's needed in your company or a program that's needed in your company, or you've recognized that you need a help, you have to get that level of self-awareness, get that recognized, and then I can come in and help you to figure out the rest. The second R is to release, finding healthy ways of releasing, because there are unhealthy and healthy ways of releasing. And when something happens, like if you get stubbed or if you hit yourself, you cry out, you scream. And in life, when crisis happens, we tend as people to cry out in different ways. Some people pick up unhealthy habits that then become addictions, and those things are not giving, they're not helping, and you get to a place where you become stuck. And so we can find healthy releases that are going to be helping you to get to your long-term goal, because if you have a plan, then you can't fall for anything. If you don't have a plan, you kind of do anything. And then after you've recognized that, then we review. Once you review, you find out what the root is so that you can take it from the root and it doesn't come back, right? And then after the review, then we return back a healthy and whole us to be able to conquer whatever plans that God has destined us to do. Because in the scripture, it talks about how God has created good works in Christ Jesus for us to do before we were even born. So there are works, there are things that we need to do, and we can't do those things when we're distracted or when we're stuck or when we're imprisoned by emotions and by bad habits and by poor skills. Like, we need to shake out of that. We need to break free, and we can do that with accurate help. We can do that with a strategy. We can do that with a plan. We can do that with accountability. And that's where I'm here. I want to see you win. I want to see your company flourish. I want to see your workshops actually be productive. And I want to see you as a person thrive in wherever God has called you to thrive in. So that's it. That's the 4 R's, and it'll take you far. It will take you far.
I love it. And I love that you said you want to see people, you want to see companies, you want people to thrive, you want them to win. I'm all about the win, win, win. And so, that's all we do is win. How do we get to that win? How do we thrive? No matter what we've gone through, no matter where we are, how do we thrive? How do we push to that next level and live our very best lives? And you are that conduit. You are that tool that bridges the trauma or the situation, the circumstance, the loss that has occurred. You are the bridge between that and living a prosperous life, thriving. And so bless you for taking up that cross, because it's not easy to work with people who have lost, people who have experienced, tragic situations in their life, be it a loss of life, be it a loss of a relationship, breakups and divorces. You have estrangements between siblings and, parents and children, and, just a host of things. You have people who are displaced, people who, their houses have caught on fire and they lost everything and now they're displaced, or they've had to leave one country and come to another country, and they're feeling a sense of loss because now they're in this new place and they know nobody, they barely know the language, if they know that. And so it can just be all this transition, and that can be difficult if you don't have someone to really be able to help you mentally and spiritually and emotionally. And that's why the reason why what you do is just invaluable. Absolutely. So blessings, Phenom. So tell us, why did you choose PWIN as your certifying organization? How did you learn about the life coaching program, and what was your experience? We have over 20 some courses. It's online. I didn't pay you, so you can be completely honest, right? There was no under the table pros and cons, but I'd like you to talk a little bit about your experience and how you got connected and what you thought about the program.
Right. I heard about the program through social media, and that's great. But I didn't know what it really was. And I knew that my next was going to be helping people, and that I wanted to be a life coach in my future. And the opportunity presented itself. And I was like, so what am I going to do? Am I going to talk about where I want to go and what I want to do? Or am I going to do something about it? And so I decided to invest in my future by partnering with you all. And when I did the research, like-minded people, one of the biggest things that I was missing was a community that was after the same things that I was after. And that's what I got. And I loved that it was self-paced, because I decided to put a lot on my plate. I was graduating at that time and I was working full time, and I was newly married as well. So those three things were a lot. But then I said, you know what? Let me add this on my plate. And because it was self-paced, I was able to set my goal and accomplish my goal in my time. And I completed it at the time frame that I wanted to. It was not easy at all. It was not easy at all. But what I loved about the programs was that it was more self-help than anything, because all of the tools that we learned, I got to use on myself first. Before I even am able to help anyone else, I had to help me, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so those courses, they were amazing. They were very helpful. I gained a lot of information, and they helped me eat today within what I do, even in my personal life, aside from the coaching. They definitely have helped me to regulate.
I love that you said you cannot pour from an empty vessel, because that is so true. And in designing the coursework, one of the things we wanted to ensure is that it was speaking to you first as a person, and then you would learn from how it spoke to you, what you needed to adapt and what you needed to take away, to then be able to serve your clients and be able to serve those in the community that come. Because I'm a proponent that, it starts with me. I got to chew on it first, and then then I can take it to the community. Then I can take it to another person, but it needs to go through my filter. It needs to hit home first, and then I'm able to pour out and I'm able to give. And so it was important that we set the program up that way. And I'm glad that you shared that it was another added component to your already full plate. But I truly believe that the ability to be self-paced is huge. And then I think that the learning management system, for me, is user friendly? Did you feel that it was user friendly for you? I know it reads to you, you have case studies, you have these quizzes that you have to take, and people are like, oh my Lord, quizzes. But I don't think they're too bad. Every once in a while you may get hung up on one, but if you take a few notes, they're pretty easy to get through. So what did you think about the usability of the learning management system?
I think it depends on who you are. So I'm a student at heart and I'm nerdy. So I loved it. I loved the tests. I loved going through it because the test then helped me to understand, did I really get what I was saying, or did I just go through it, right? So it's different. It depends on who you are. And I'm coming from being a student, right? So I'm already used to this. It's like, okay, another thing on my list and I flew through it and I found ways for it to work to me. I love that it could read to me because while I was driving, I let it read to me. And then I took my tests on my free time to be able to go through. So it worked for me because I was in such a busy season. I was going. And so I'm like, I was able to bring it to me. I didn't have to sit down and read through everything, even though I personally chose to in some aspects and areas so that I could grow even more.
And you make some good points, and you're right, because I could even be doing something, because I go through all the courses, and same thing. I can be doing A over here, and I'll have it on my iPad and just let it read to me, and then go in and be able to do the test. So I feel like I can multitask. I can do multiple things at the same time. So that's part of the reason why I love it as well. So Naomi, leave the people with some of your greatest advice if they are going through a situation that they're finding that is difficult, and they don't know that they need a life coach, but they know that they're in a place where they're struggling, and they may not want to admit that they're struggling, but they're struggling, and they've lost at some point in their life. They're not feeling like the winner that we know that they are. They may not even feel like they're winning at all. They may be feeling like they're on the losing end of life right now. What would you say to that individual? And before you give that bit of wisdom, please share with us how we can get in touch with you. So if people want to seek you out, how can they follow you? How can they get in touch with you? And then I want you to drop some nuggets, drop some of that wisdom on us really quick. I want you to speak to somebody who's viewing us, and then we will wrap up. This has just been amazing, and I love your story and everything that you shared. So go ahead and tell us how we can get in touch with you, how we can connect, and then drop that wisdom on us.
Ooh, all right. Well, you can get a hold of me on my social media. Hashtags are at Speak Back to Life. Speak Back to Life, no spaces. And I'm currently reworking on my website, and it would be www.speakbacktolife.com. If you want to get a hold of me, my inbox is open. I am open to having conversations all the time. And for the advice, that is heavy. I think that the first thing that I could say is, well, if you are in a place where you could recognize that you need help, that is the number one thing. Like, that's amazing. And you are the most permanent person in your life. You are the most permanent person in your life. And so investing in you is the best thing to do, because other than that, you can't do anything. You cannot do anything. And I'll leave you guys with a story that a pastor once told me about, we talked about pregnancy, right? And he's like, some people, when some women, is an example that he gave that changed the way that I see life. Because some women get to their pregnancy, get to the labor bed, and because of the pain, they close their legs and abort their baby. because the pain was too much, they closed their legs and aborted the baby. And the baby, the analogy that I'm giving, the baby is your purpose. The baby is who you're supposed to be. The baby is who your best you, your best self. That baby, just because of a crisis or a pain, don't abort it. Don't close your legs. You know, the one things that help with that, or the soothing things, is who is with you when you're giving birth? Who is with you when you're giving labor? You want the right person to be able to speak to you, say, hey, you know what? You got this. You can do it. Hey, you know what? I've been there, and this time do it like this. Hey, you know what? I am going to war for you in spirit to make sure that you get there wherever there is. And so I just wanted to, I am asking, if you are in that place where you know it's getting hard and you're about to close your legs, look for someone to be there with you that will speak life into you. That's speak back to life, that will speak life into you, so that your purpose, your vision, your dream is not aborted too soon. That's it.
I don't even want to say anything after that. That was like so spot on and so deep. And I knew that you had something to drop on us. If you feel like you're about to close your legs and abort your baby, reach out, reach out. Reach out. Don't abort the dream. Don't abort the relationship. Don't abort the passion that's burning in you. Don't abort your self-esteem, your self-love. Don't forsake your mental wellness. Reach out to someone. You're not alone. You're not by yourself. You weren't created to do life by yourself. And Naomi, that story, thank you for sharing it, because it's deep. There's so many places. Look, I'm a preacher. I feel like I'm ready to preach.
Come on, that's what I said. How much time do I got?
Borrow that story, because I feel like I'm ready to preach it. I mean, it's really deep, because, and here's the thing about it, we're just trying to avoid the pain. At that point, the pain is so great that we're just trying to avoid the pain. At the moment, we're not even thinking about the damage that can be done to the baby, that can be done to the vision, that can be done to the business, that can be done to the relationship, that can be done to ourselves. We're not even thinking about the destruction. We're just trying to get through the pain. We're just trying to cope and deal with the pain is really all we're trying to do. And here comes a Naomi that says you don't have to do that by yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with that pain by yourself. I'm here. Let me guide you through the pain. I have some tips and I have some tools. I got some stuff in my tool belt that will help decrease the pain so you don't have to abort the baby.
That's it. And sorry to add on to that because that just brought so much, but just to add on to that, there's so many people that are attached, whatever idea that God has put in you, whatever dream, whatever goal, whatever you that's supposed to come, your authentic you is attached to someone. And if you say no, then those people will not get that, whatever it is, that dream, that book, that business, that your personality. If you're not there, so many people will leave. And that's why managing is so important, because things are not going to stop happening to you just because you have a calling, just because you're saved, just because you're anointed. Things will still happen to you. And if you don't learn how to manage what happens to you, then you will be broken, and those that are attached to you won't be able to glean from what you are supposed to give, because you would then be in a place where you're hurt, you're resentful, bitter. That's poison. You can't pour poison out. You cannot pour poison out. You'll be hurting more than helping. I promise you will be hurting more than helping. And there's so many people that are connected to your yes. There are. So heal, work on it, learn to manage what's happening, and your pain will become your purpose. It will, and you'll be able to be pushed to another level that you didn't even know existed. You'll learn a you that you didn't even know existed. And that's the beautiful part. That is the beautiful part. When you look in the mirror and be like, me, that's me. Yeah, that's me. I love it.
Come on, Queen, you better break that down. Yes, a lot of times we think as Christians, because we are saved and we are so powerful, that we're not going to go through certain things. You gonna go through. It's not, if, it's when. Okay. The difference is we have the Holy Spirit. We have tools. We have God's word to be able to stand on to help us manage. And we have the wisdom to know to reach out and not isolate ourselves, and reach out to people that can support us and can help us, that can speak life into us as we are managing whatever the situation is, because it's coming. And it's not just one. I have a book that's getting ready to be released, and I talk about the seasons. The book is inspired by Ecclesiastes, where it talks about all the various seasons in life that we go through. And there are seasons. There is a season of loss. There is a season where everything around you feels like it's being plucked up, and money is flying through your hands, and you just, things aren't going right. And maybe you lost a car, and maybe you had to downsize from a house to an apartment, and maybe you lost a pet, and it just seems like you're losing. You're in a season of loss. It's scriptural. There is a season of loss. But the glory about it, and the testimony, is that God is such a great God that behind that season of loss, he will bring you a season where everything that you need shows up. You will move into a season of abundance, and you will move into a season that will make you forget about everything that you lost. He will give you double for your trouble. If you've heard that, he will bring you into a place where he opens up the windows of heaven, and he just pours out all these blessings. And pretty soon you don't have room to contain them. And now you got to start paying it forward. You got to start giving away your blessings, because you don't even have enough room. When you're moving and transitioning through life, it's going to happen. Life is going to come fast. It's going to come furious, but you're not by yourself. And that's the theme from today. And Naomi, thank you for driving that theme home. We are not by ourselves. There is somebody out here, and there may be multiple people. One person can take you one leg, kind of like a relay. You may have one person that took you a third of the way, another person may take you a third of the way, and then Naomi may bring it home. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yes.
That's okay. That's okay. You have a village. Go ahead.
The thing about growth is, you will stay stuck until you do something about it. There was another story. I'm so sorry. I'm bringing all these stories up, but it's in me. I just need to give it out to you guys, right? There was a story about a doctor owner that had a dog, and the dog was sitting on a nail, and the dog was whining that it was sitting on a nail, and people would walk past the dog and look at the owner and be like, bro, this owner does not care about its dog. And then the owner said, if it was hurting, he'd get up. And so you got to get to a place where you make that decision and say, I need to go, because there's a revelation that God gave me when I was working, where he told me the blessing is on the way. And I got upset because I was in my losing season, right? I was upset. Everybody telling me the blessing is on the way. The blessing is on the way. Where is it? It hasn't came yet. And he was like, no, you think the blessing is on the way, it's going to come to you. The blessing is on the way. You have to keep moving. You will see the blessing on the way. When I tell you, at school, while I'm vacuuming, I went crazy. I was like, what? But I needed it. That was my push, because I knew that it's on the way. I got to keep moving. And if you're in a place where you're in a losing season and you're stuck, You have to do something about it. You have to go look for the coach. You have to say, I'm going to do everything that it takes so that I can be my best self because I'm living beneath what I am worth. You have to do that. You have to do that. I'm a coach. I will be there to hold you accountable. I'll be there to walk with you through it. But if you don't want to do it, you're going to stay stuck. And people are going to walk around and be like, the God of that person, the owner of that person, what's going on there? And you're gonna be like, I gave you the resources and you decided not to get up. So can we get up? Come on. Let's get up. There's so much that you have to do. There's so much that healthy you can be doing. There's so much pleasure. There's so much joy. There's so much peace. There's so much changes and in your work environment, in your personal sphere of influence that you need to do. And you can't do it if you're not healthy. You can't do it if you don't learn how to manage. I'm sorry. You don't get a preacher up. I'm a preach. I'm just going to stop there. And I'm going to say, you are worth it. Invest in you. You're so worth it.
At the beginning, I said that you were like this fireball. Like you come, your first appearance is like, oh, she's so like meek and just so quiet. And then she opens her mouth and this vibe and this word and this just all of this charisma and this wisdom just comes out, which is why I absolutely adore you. And I knew that today was going to be fire because I knew once you got going that you were just going to bring it on home. And I absolutely love it. And, you know, we had people that were joining us and they were like, you know, they came in on the first story you were telling and they were like, wow, that's just so powerful. And it's just crazy. So all types of love. Thank you for taking this time out to join me in this interview and just be able to introduce you out to my sphere of influence and all those connected with us on social media. This will be uploaded on YouTube. So if you're watching via YouTube, you know, connect with Naomi, connect with PWIN. If your desire is to become a life coach, you can connect. You can go to mypwin.org and click on Next Level Academy, our In Lead Academy, and you'll be able to sign up for our coaching program as well. We also have 3 other programs that are listed there, but connect with us, become a part of this community of coaches. And the very last word, Naomi, again, tell people how they can get connected to you if they want to reach out. And then you all, we're going to get off of here because I will keep going and I'm going to feed her and she's going to feed me. And 2 hours is going to be passed because you got 2 preachers on here and the content is good. So one last time, tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, all of my social media handles are at Speak Back to Life. On Instagram, Speak Back to Life. On Facebook, Speak Back to Life. YouTube, Speak Back to Life. And you can swipe up in my messenger and have a connection. If you'd like, I have a self-care workbook that I'm offering. And you can swipe up and inbox me, coach me, and I will send you your free for the free, just because of this, you're here, your free workbook. Because, hey, if you can't come to a session, have a session come to you. Come on.
I love it.
Come on.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for all that you do and showing up so that you could have these places where people are connecting. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
It is my pleasure. And you all that are watching live, please share this on your pages. Somebody needs to hear this. If you're joining us via YouTube, share this video, share Naomi to the world. We appreciate you all joining us. Go be great and have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we appreciate each and every one of you. Blessings.